Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Philosopher, where curiosity gets cozy and science takes the scenic route to slumber. I'm so glad you've decided to join me tonight. Whether you're lying in bed, sitting on a quiet couch, or simply letting your thoughts drift with the stars, this is your time, your moment, to pause, breathe, and wonder. Tonight's gentle journey is about something we all live by, something we all feel, but can never touch. It's not the wind, it's not the light. It's something far more mysterious. Tonight, we talk about time. But before we begin our gentle journey, I'd love to ask you something. Just a small question. Where in the world are you watching or listening from? And what time is it for you? Right now. Funny, isn't it? You're listening to a story about time, and yet you and I, though sharing this same moment, may be in completely different parts of the world. You might be beginning your evening, wrapping up your day, or perhaps you're already tucked into bed with the moon glowing outside your window. Or maybe you're just starting a fresh morning, stretching toward the sunlight. Wherever you are in this vast spinning world, this very second we share is both yours and mine. A shared slice of the clock, just for us. Time, it's such a simple word. 4 letters, a tick, a tock, a whisper on the wind, but it holds a universe inside it. Time guides our schedules, builds our memories, heals our wounds, and ages our bones. It stretches across lifetimes and yet can vanish in an instant. It's a mystery we live with every single day, but rarely pause to think about. Until now. Let's take a slow breath together. Inhale and exhale. Let your thoughts settle like soft dust in sunlight. Because in the next few moments, we are not racing toward deadlines, nor chasing busy minutes. We are stepping into stillness, into a story, into the quiet reality of time. Imagine time not as a ticking clock on your wall, but as a slow river. A river that flows quietly around you, beneath you, through you. You cannot stop the current, but you can float with it. You can rest on its gentle waves. You can observe the ripples and wonder where they began and where they go. This river has been flowing long before you were born and will keep moving long after, but in this moment it flows gently, just for you. You see, time isn't just about seconds and minutes. It's also about moments, like this one. Right now, you, listening, thinking, breathing. This moment is not on a clock. It's not in a calendar. It exists only here, in your awareness. That's the magic of time. It hides in the present. Sometimes, time feels fast. Like when you're laughing with someone you love. Like when you're traveling, discovering new places, or getting lost in a good book. Hours slip away like shadows at sunset. Other times, time slows down, like waiting in a quiet room, or watching the rain fall, or lying awake in the dark, wondering when sleep will arrive. Minutes stretch like warm taffy, long and sticky. Isn't it curious? The same hour can feel different depending on what you're doing. But how can that be? How can time feel so flexible, so stretchy, when the clock ticks at the same pace for everyone? Well, that's one of the beautiful secrets we'll explore tonight. But for now, just imagine yourself sitting in a cozy little cabin. There's a soft blanket wrapped around your shoulders. A candle flickers on a nearby table. Outside, the stars have begun to glow. You hear the wind gently brushing against the window. Time has slowed down for you here, just like that. And isn't that nice? You've probably heard people say, "I don't have enough time," or "time flies." Or maybe, where did the time go? These are common phrases, used by almost everyone, but they reveal something interesting, something deep. That time is not just something we watch. It's something we feel, something we experience. It shapes our emotions. It dances with our thoughts. It becomes the backdrop for our days, our stories, our lives. Now, if I were to ask you to describe time, what would you say? Would you think of a clock, a calendar, a sunrise? Or would you remember a moment? Like your birthday when you were little? Or the last conversation you had with a friend? Or the way you felt walking in the rain with your favorite song playing in your ears? These are all pieces of time, not measured by numbers, but by feelings. You see, time is not just about math. It's also about memory. But even science, with all its clever tools and smart minds, still struggles to fully understand what time is. Is it a force? Is it a dimension? Is it a way for our brains to organize experience? Physicists debate and dream and write long papers about it. But for you and me, here in this moment, time is something simpler. It's the rhythm of life, the beat of a heart, the blink of an eye, the deep breath before sleep. Think back to your earliest memory. What do you see? Maybe it's a toy you used to love, or a voice calling your name. Maybe it's the smell of food cooking in the kitchen, or the feeling of holding someone's hand. That memory is a small pocket of time safely tucked away in your mind. It's proof that time lives inside us, not just outside. Now let's imagine a tiny bird flying across a clear sky. From our view on the ground, it moves quickly, wings fluttering, darting through the air. But to the bird, that's just normal. Just life. Now imagine a tree. It stands still for years, decades. It watches birds come and go. Seasons change. Snowfall, leaves grow and fall and grow again. The bird and the tree live in the same world, under the same sky, but experience time so differently. One in flutters, one in stillness. Which one is right? Both. That's the mystery of time. And now, imagine yourself floating in a bubble of now. Around you, everything is calm. The past is behind you, resting. The future is ahead of you, waiting. But you are here, in this perfect little moment. Nothing to fix, nothing to chase, just floating, breathing, listening, being. If time is a river, then the present is your boat. It carries you gently through the waves. And you don't have to paddle. You don't have to steer. Just trust the flow. Trust that you're moving, even when it feels like you're standing still. As this story continues in the next chapters, we'll explore how our brains understand time, how emotions change our sense of minutes, and how our memories shape our timelines. We'll look at clocks that don't tick, languages that see time differently, and the invisible rhythms inside our bodies that guide our sleep and energy. But for now, in this soft opening chapter, I want you to simply rest in this thought. Time is not your enemy. It is not something to rush or control. It is a companion, a silent, steady friend. It moves forward, always, but it also allows you to pause, to reflect, to feel. So tonight, as you lie back and let this gentle story continue, remember that you are not late. You are not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Right here. Right now. Listening to the quiet hum of the universe and the soft whisper of time. Let your eyes grow heavier. Let your thoughts drift like leaves on a gentle stream. There's no need to understand everything. Just feel it, breathe it, float with it. Because the story of time is not just a science, it's a lullaby, and it has just begun. This is a quiet question, a question as old as thinking itself. What is time, really? You can't see it. You can't hold it in your hands. You can't smell it or taste it or tuck it in your pocket. And yet, time is always there, always ticking, always flowing, always moving. We live inside of time, like fish live in water, often without noticing it. But if you pause and breathe and listen to the world around you, you can feel time passing. A soft moment here, a long sigh there, the sun slowly shifting across your window. That's time. Long ago, before machines ticked and phones buzzed, people watched the sky to measure time, the sun rising and falling, the moon growing full and shrinking again, the seasons turning in a quiet circle. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. These changes were the first clocks. Nature was the first calendar. People didn't think of time in numbers, like hours and minutes. They thought of it in moments. When the birds returned, when the first snow came, when the harvest ended. Time was a rhythm, not a rule. It was felt, not counted. Then came tools, sundials, water clocks, sand falling in glass, and later, tick-tick-ticking clocks on walls. Each invention gave time a tighter shape. Time became slices, seconds, minutes, hours, carved out of the day. And slowly, people began to live by those slices. But still, no one could say exactly what time is. Some said time was like a straight road, going from the past into the future. Others said time was a circle, always looping, always repeating. Some said time was only in the mind, that without memory or thought, there would be no time at all. Then came a man with wild white hair and eyes full of wonder. His name was Albert Einstein. He changed everything. Einstein said that time isn't fixed, it can stretch and bend. It moves slower when you move faster. It changes near heavy planets. It flows differently for different people. Imagine two twins. One stays on Earth. The other travels through space at a great speed. When the space traveler returns, they are younger than their twin. Not in spirit, but in actual time. That is not science fiction. That is science. Time is not the same for everyone. It's strange, isn't it? But also beautiful. Time becomes soft, not sharp. Flexible, not fixed. Even before Einstein, ancient philosophers had their own ideas. A Greek thinker named Heraclitus said, "Everything flows, nothing stays." He believed that the world is always changing and that time is like a river. You can never step into the same water twice, because the water moves on, and so do we. To Heraclitus, time is not just something that passes. It's something that transforms. A seed becomes a tree. A day becomes a memory. A child becomes an elder. And all the while, time keeps flowing. Some philosophers believe the past and future don't really exist. Only the present is real, the now, this exact moment. The past is a memory. The future is a dream. But right now, this breath, this pause, this quiet listening, is real. Others believe that time is an illusion, that change is only in our minds, that deep down, everything just is, still and silent, and time is only how we see it. But how can something so invisible feel so heavy sometimes? Think about this. Why does time seem to fly when we are happy? Why does it crawl when we are bored or sad? Maybe time doesn't move the same for our hearts as it does for our clocks. Maybe time isn't just what ticks on the wall. Maybe time is also how we feel, how we notice, how we remember. There is another idea, that time is like space. Just like you can go left or right, up or down. Maybe time is just another direction. We walk through time like walking through a field, one step, then another. And though we can't turn around and walk backward, the path is always there, behind us and ahead of us. Some thinkers believe all of time exists at once, that the past, the present, and the future are all laid out like pages in a book. You, right now, are just on one page. And the next page is already written, but you haven't turned it yet. The book is already whole. You're just reading it, moment by moment. Is that true? No one knows for sure. Time keeps its secrets, but maybe we don't need to solve it. Maybe it's enough to notice it, to honor it, to listen to it as we fall asleep. Time is the story of change, the space between what was and what will be. And here, in this moment, between two breaths, time holds you gently. So let the question stay with you. Let it drift beside you like a feather in the dark. What is time, really? A river, a rhythm, a road, a dream? Maybe it's all of those. Maybe it's something more. But for now, let the mystery of time rock you gently. No need to chase the answer. Just rest inside the question. And if your eyes feel heavy now, that too is part of time. Time is strange. Sometimes it moves fast. Sometimes it moves slowly. But the clock on the wall always ticks at the same pace. So, why does it feel so different? This is because we don't just measure time with clocks. We also feel it with our minds. This feeling is called subjective time. It means that how you experience time depends on how your brain sees it, moment by moment, emotion by emotion. Imagine this. You're sitting in a waiting room. There's nothing to do. The walls are plain. You check the time. Only 2 minutes have passed, but it feels like 10. Now imagine you're laughing with a good friend. You're telling stories. You're sharing smiles. You check the time again. 30 minutes have passed, but it feels like 5. What happened? The answer is inside your brain. Your brain has its own clock, but it doesn't count seconds. It feels them. 3 things shape how you feel. Time. 1. Attention. 2. Emotion. 3. Memory. Let's start with attention. When you're bored, you notice every second. You watch the clock. You wait. You listen to the ticking. Your mind has nothing else to do, so it counts time very carefully. That makes it feel longer. But when you're busy or focused, something changes. Your brain says, we're doing something important. Let's not worry about time. So it stops counting. You stop noticing the seconds. And time feels shorter. You may have heard of this feeling. It's called being in the zone or in flow. When you're in flow, time fades into the background. Artists feel it. Writers feel it. Even gamers and dancers feel it. You lose track of everything except the moment. That's what deep attention does. It hides the clock. Now, let's talk about emotion. When you're scared or nervous, time slows down. Imagine a moment of danger. Everything seems to move in slow motion. You notice more. You feel more. Your brain becomes sharp, like a camera recording every little detail. Later, when you remember it, it feels like it lasted longer than it did. But when you're happy or excited, time speeds up. A fun day feels short. A joyful hour passes quickly. That's because your brain is busy enjoying the moment, not watching the clock. Strong feelings change how we feel time. Fear stretches it. Joy shortens it. Sadness can freeze it. And love? Love can make it disappear. Now let's look at memory. When something is new or unusual, your brain pays close attention. it works hard to save the memory. That takes more time and more energy. Later, when you think about that moment, it feels longer because your brain stored more details. That's why childhood summers feel endless. You were learning, discovering, exploring. Every day was full of new experiences. Your brain recorded everything, but as we grow older, we do more of the same things. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Our brains say, we've seen this before. So they don't save as much. And when we look back, time feels shorter, like the years flew by. So, to feel time more fully, do new things. Take a different walk. Try a new hobby. Read a new book. Meet new people. Each new moment stretches time just a little. To sum it all up, time is not only about clocks. Time is also about attention, emotion, and memory. When you're bored, time feels slow. When you're happy, time feels fast. When something is new, time feels long. The brain doesn't follow the tick-tock of a watch. It follows the rhythm of experience. So the next time you feel like time is flying or crawling, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where is my mind? What am I noticing or not noticing? Time is not just out there in the world. Time is also in here, inside your mind. And now, as the seconds pass quietly, you may feel them a little differently. Slower, softer, deeper. And maybe, just maybe, you've found a gentler clock, the one that lives in you. Have you ever waited in a quiet room with nothing to do? No phone, no book, no one to talk to. The clock on the wall ticks slowly. You look once. 5 minutes. You wait. You look again. Only 2 minutes have passed. It feels like time is moving through honey, thick, slow, and heavy. This is the strange feeling of boredom, and boredom plays a big trick on time. Let's imagine you're in a doctor's waiting room. The walls are pale, the chairs are stiff. There's a ticking clock on the wall. There are old magazines on the table. No music, just silence. And time, crawling like a tired snail. Why does this happen? The answer lives in your brain. When you are bored, your brain wants stimulation. It's searching for something to focus on. But when there is nothing interesting around, no sounds, no movement, no challenges, your brain turns inward. It starts counting seconds. It watches the clock closely. It pays too much attention to each passing moment. And that makes time feel slow. Scientists call this your internal pacemaker. Yes, like the beat of a drum in your mind. When you're bored, this inner drum starts beating louder and faster. You become more aware of each beat. So, the same 5 minutes can feel like 20. But something interesting happens when you're engaged, when your mind is busy. Imagine you're reading a good story, or solving a puzzle, or talking with someone you enjoy. In these moments, your brain says, we are busy. No need to count the seconds. The inner clock becomes quiet. The drum slows down, and time feels like it disappears. So, what's the secret behind slow moments? It's the lack of mental engagement. When nothing is happening outside, your brain turns inside. And that makes every second stretch. Even the space around you can change the feeling. Bright rooms with color, soft music, art, or movement make waiting easier. They give the brain small things to hold on to. That helps time pass more gently. But plain rooms with silence and stillness make time feel heavier. That's why some airports, hospitals, and offices try to add little things to keep your mind engaged. Music, videos, lights, plants. These are not just decorations. They help your brain stop watching the clock. The feeling of wishing time away is also powerful. When you're waiting for something, a message, a meal, a meeting, your mind jumps forward. You want the future to come faster, and that desire makes the present feel longer. You say to yourself, "Why is this taking so long?" But really, it's not the time that changed. It's your expectation. You're living in a moment that you don't want, and that makes every second feel like a wait. Even children feel it. Think of a child waiting for their birthday. 1 week feels like a month. Why? Because they're excited. They're thinking about the cake, the gifts, the joy, and each day that's not their birthday feels like a delay. So how can we make time feel lighter in these waiting moments? It doesn't take much. A quiet song, a good thought, a short list in your head, a tiny daydream. Even breathing slowly and watching your breath can give your brain something soft to do. These small mental tasks stop the mind from staring at the clock. Because time is not just about numbers, it's about attention. When your mind is still, time gets loud. But when your mind is moving, time becomes quiet. So the next time you're stuck in a waiting room or counting the seconds during a slow afternoon, try giving your brain a gentle gift. A small task, a simple thought, a soft focus. And maybe, just maybe, those long minutes will start to float like clouds across a sleepy sky. Time has a strange habit of slipping away when we least expect it, especially during moments of deep focus and joy. Think back to a time when you were completely absorbed in something. Maybe you were lost in the pages of a fascinating book, your imagination painting scenes more vivid than the world around you. Or perhaps you are sketching, each line flowing effortlessly from your pencil, guided not by logic, but by something quieter, something felt. Maybe you are simply talking to a dear friend, and the minutes turned into hours without a glance at the clock. These are the moments when time seems to vanish, when it doesn't march or tick or crawl. It just disappears. And this curious experience is known as the flow state. The term flow was coined by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who spent much of his career studying happiness and creativity. He noticed that people often reported a kind of euphoric immersion when they were doing something they enjoyed deeply. They felt energized yet calm, aware yet detached from distraction. Everything outside the task at hand seemed to fade away, and time became an afterthought. This was not just about being productive or entertained. It was about being so involved in an activity that the boundary between the doer and the doing dissolved. In this state, people didn't feel the weight of time. They weren't bored and they weren't waiting. They were just there, present, completely. Scientifically, the flow state is linked to several processes in the brain. When you're fully engaged in something, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for self-awareness and time tracking, actually slows down. This reduction in activity is known as transient hypofrontality. It's part of what makes you lose the sense of time and self during flow. Your brain, essentially, decides that there's no need to monitor the passage of time when you are immersed so fully. Other parts of the brain, particularly those responsible for focus and reward, light up instead. Dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, is released, reinforcing the behavior and encouraging you to stay engaged. Not every activity can bring about flow. It tends to occur in a sweet spot, a balance between challenge and skill. If something is too easy, you get bored. Too difficult, and you get frustrated. But when the task is just challenging enough to stretch you without overwhelming you, the brain enters this harmonious rhythm. This is why athletes often talk about being in the zone, why artists feel as if the brush moves by itself, and why a coder can look up from their screen and realize it's somehow midnight. Let's paint a quiet picture. Imagine someone sitting by the window with a cup of tea and a sketchbook. The world outside is hushed, and the only sounds are the faint rustling of leaves and the soft scratch of pencil on paper. They are not thinking about dinner or emails or tomorrow's errands. Their hand moves instinctively, shading in a tree, drawing the curve of a horizon. Time in that moment becomes irrelevant. They aren't trying to escape time. They simply forget that it exists. And in that forgetting, there is a kind of peace that doesn't come from stopping time, but from stepping out of its grip. Flow doesn't always have to be dramatic or artistic. It can happen in the simplest of places. A gardener lost in planting new bulbs, a baker kneading dough with gentle focus, a parent building a Lego castle with their child, brick by tiny brick. Flow is democratic. It doesn't care if the task is grand or small. What matters is that you are present. Your attention is undivided, your senses awake, and your inner clock asleep. There is a gentle irony in the flow state. The more we try to force it, the more it slips away. It's like trying to remember a dream the moment you wake up. But when we allow ourselves to simply do what we love, to follow our curiosity or delight, flow finds us. It settles around us like a warm blanket, drawing us into the present moment. In flow, there is no waiting, no rushing, no multitasking, only being. Researchers have found that people who experience flow regularly tend to report higher levels of well-being and happiness. That's not surprising. To be in flow is to be free, if only for a while, from the mental clutter that normally fills our days. There is no past to worry about, no future to plan for. Just now, and now, and now. It's as if time softens its edges, no longer a rigid sequence of seconds, but a gentle wave that carries you. Curiously, the memory of flow is also different. When we look back at a day filled with flow moments, we don't remember the passage of time. We remember the depth of the experience, the richness of it. This is one reason time seems to pass quickly during flow but feels full in retrospect. It leaves a lasting emotional imprint, one that often becomes a cherished memory. We might not recall the exact hour or minute, but we remember the feeling of being alive, fully and quietly. In contrast, when we spend time distracted, jumping between tasks or counting down the hours, time not only drags in the moment, it leaves behind a blur. Days blend together. We were awake, but not present, busy, but not engaged. Flow reminds us that time is not just about clocks and calendars. It's about connection. Connection to what we're doing, to who we're with, and to ourselves. So how can we invite more flow into our lives? It starts with noticing. Pay attention to the things that pull you in naturally, that make hours feel like minutes. Protect time for those activities. Set aside distractions. Turn off notifications. Let your mind settle into a rhythm that isn't rushed. Whether it's painting, journaling, gardening, dancing, or building, allow yourself the space to sink in. Flow cannot be scheduled, but it can be welcomed. And in those moments when you're no longer watching the clock, but watching your hand move, your thoughts flow, your heart lift, you'll know time hasn't vanished. It has simply softened its voice and stepped into the background, letting you take center stage. Perhaps that's one of time's greatest secrets. It doesn't always need to be measured. Sometimes it only needs to be lived. And the flow state is where life, in its quietest and most vibrant form, hums. Have you ever wondered why those childhood summers seem to stretch on forever? Why a single day back then could feel like a whole adventure, while now the weeks seem to fly by in the blink of an eye? This isn't just nostalgia playing tricks. It has a deep connection with how our brains process memories and experience novelty. When we're young, everything around us is new. New faces, new places, new feelings. Our brains are like sponges, soaking up these fresh experiences and creating rich, detailed memories. Scientists call this memory density, and it plays a huge role in how we perceive time. The more novel an event, the more detailed and vivid the memory it leaves behind. Think of it like filling a photo album with bright, colorful pictures. A day packed with new experiences creates more photos than a day spent doing the same routine. This flood of new information means our brains spend more time processing and storing these memories. When we look back, those memories make the time feel longer, simply because our mind has so much to recall. That's why childhood often feels like it lasted an eternity. It was a period dense with firsts and discoveries. Adulthood, on the other hand, often brings routines. Days can become repetitive. Wake up, work, eat, sleep. And our brain, ever the efficiency expert, learns to compress these repetitive experiences. Instead of storing every moment, it bundles similar memories together, creating a sort of highlight reel that feels shorter when we reflect on it. This compression means time seems to speed up because fewer unique memories are being made. Imagine flipping through a photo album of your adult years. Many pages might have similar pictures, making it feel like the events blur together. Contrast that with a childhood album filled with unique snapshots, each standing out brightly. That's the essence of why time feels faster as we grow older. The role of novelty is so powerful that when adults experience something truly new, a trip to a foreign country, learning a new skill, or even a surprising event, their perception of time can slow down, mimicking that childhood sense of extended moments. Novel experiences force the brain to pay close attention and create more detailed memories, making time feel richer and fuller. This connection between memory and time perception also helps explain why people often say, "Time flies when you're having fun." Enjoyable moments tend to be more engaging and novel, filling our mental albums with fresh images. Yet, when life becomes monotonous, time drags, leaving behind fewer memorable snapshots. Understanding this relationship invites us to seek novelty and variation, even in small ways. Trying new foods, taking different routes to work, or learning something new can add layers to our mental albums, helping stretch our perception of time and making life feel fuller. In the grand tapestry of time, it is these moments of discovery, change, and surprise that weave the richest patterns, reminding us that while the clock ticks at a steady pace, our experience of time is anything but fixed. Childhood taught us this without words. It showed us that when life is fresh and vibrant, time isn't just passing, it's expanding. Time as we experience it is not just a steady, unchanging flow. It's a dance that shifts and sways with our emotions. Have you ever noticed how a moment of joy or laughter can seem to vanish in an instant, while a scary or sad experience can feel like it drags on endlessly. This fascinating connection between emotions and our sense of time reveals just how deeply intertwined our feelings are with the ticking of the clock inside us. Let's start with fear. Imagine you're walking alone at night and suddenly hear footsteps behind you. In that instant, your heart races, your senses sharpen, and time seems to slow down. This isn't just your imagination. Scientists explain that during intense or threatening moments, your brain floods with adrenaline and other stress hormones. These chemicals heighten your awareness, making your mind record more details every second. The result? When you look back, it feels like time stretched out, as if you lived through a slow-motion replay. People who have survived car accidents, natural disasters, or other emergencies often report this sensation. It's not that the seconds actually lengthened, but your brain captured so much information that your memory creates the illusion of slowed time. Now, what about joy or excitement? Think about the moments you spend laughing with friends or being lost in the thrill of something you love. These times seem to fly by faster than you expect. Why? When you're happy or deeply engaged, your brain is busy enjoying the moment rather than keeping track of the clock. This emotional state can speed up your internal sense of time because you're less focused on each passing second and more absorbed in the experience. It's like time slips through your fingers while you're dancing, playing, or simply enjoying a warm hug. Sadness and grief too can warp our perception of time, but often in a different way. When we feel down or depressed, time can feel heavy and slow. This may be because negative emotions can draw our attention inward, making us more aware of each moment dragging by. The mental weight of sadness can make minutes stretch endlessly, as if the clock is ticking just for us in our solitude. Love, perhaps, is one of the most powerful time-distorting emotions. "Time flies when I'm with you" is a phrase many of us know well. When we're in love or deeply connected with someone, our minds often enter a state of flow, where we're so engrossed in the other person that the outside world, including time itself, seems to melt away. Conversely, moments of longing or separation can feel interminable, showing just how flexible our emotional clock really is. The science behind these shifts in time perception points to complex brain systems that process emotion and attention simultaneously. The amygdala, a tiny but mighty part of the brain, plays a key role in emotion, especially fear and excitement. It interacts with regions responsible for memory and time perception, blending these experiences into how we feel time passing. In essence, our internal clock is not just a mechanical device ticking away seconds, but a living, breathing rhythm shaped by the colors of our feelings. Fear can slow the beat, joy can quicken it, and sadness can drag it out, reminding us that time is as much a matter of the heart as it is of the mind. So next time you find yourself wishing a joyful moment to last longer, or hoping a frightening one will end quickly, remember this: your emotions are subtly bending the fabric of time itself, creating a personal experience that's unique to you. Time as we know it doesn't just tick away uniformly for everyone around the world. Our experience of time is deeply shaped not only by biology and emotion, but also by the culture we grow up in and the language we speak. Different societies think about and talk about time in ways that can seem quite surprising, even puzzling, when compared side by side. This chapter explores how cultures around the globe shape their unique clocks. In many Western cultures, like English-speaking countries, time is often spoken of as a path that we move along. We say things like, looking forward to the weekend, or putting the past behind us. This spatial metaphor sees time as a line stretching from the past, through the present, and into the future. It's almost as if we are travelers moving along this invisible road, marching forward with each second. But not all cultures think about time this way. Some indigenous languages, such as Hopi in North America, don't treat time as a line at all. Instead, they see time more like a landscape or a space you exist within, shaped by events and cycles rather than a straight path. This perspective highlights how time isn't just something you move through, but something you experience as a condition or setting for life's moments. Even more fascinating are the ways some cultures physically represent time in space through gestures. For example, speakers of the Aymara language in South America point behind them when referring to the future and in front of them when referring to the past. This flips the usual Western idea on its head. Why? Because in their worldview, the future is unknown and unseen. So it's behind them, while the past is known and visible, lying before them. In contrast, many Western cultures point forward when talking about the future and backward for the past, aligning with the metaphor of time as a journey. These different mappings of time onto physical space shape not just language, but how people think about and relate to the past and future. Other cultural concepts of time include cyclical time, found in many Eastern traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism. Here, time is seen as a repeating circle where events, lives, and seasons loop endlessly rather than marching forward in a straight line. This cyclical view can influence how people perceive change, destiny, and progress. Time orientation also affects daily life, planning, and social behavior. For example, some cultures prioritize punctuality and strict schedules, while others adopt a more flexible approach, seeing time as flowing and adaptable rather than rigid and segmented. These differences can lead to misunderstandings, but also teach us that time is, after all, a human invention shaped by the stories we tell and the values we hold. Understanding these cultural differences reminds us that time is not a universal, unchanging concept, but a tapestry woven from diverse threads of language, thought, and tradition. It invites us to look beyond the clock on the wall and appreciate how our own experience of time is part of a vast, colorful human mosaic. Time, while often thought of as something outside ourselves, measured by clocks on walls or numbers on phones, is also something deeply embedded within our very bodies. Hidden inside us are intricate biological clocks that keep track of time and help regulate the rhythms of life. These internal timers govern everything from our sleep patterns to our hormone levels, shaping how we live day by day. In this chapter, we will journey inside the body to uncover these natural timekeepers and explore how they influence our experience of time. One of the most well-known biological clocks is the circadian rhythm. The word circadian comes from the Latin words circa, meaning around, and diem, meaning day. So circadian rhythms are roughly 24-hour cycles that repeat every day. These rhythms are like an internal schedule or calendar that tells our body when to sleep, wake, eat, and perform countless other functions. This daily timer helps keep us in sync with the natural world, most notably the rising and setting of the sun. Inside our brains is a tiny but powerful area called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, located in the hypothalamus. This cluster of about 20,000 neurons acts as the master clock of the body. It receives information about light from the eyes and uses that to adjust our rhythms accordingly. For example, when the sun rises and light hits our eyes, the SCN signals the body to wake up, increase alertness, and start producing hormones like cortisol that help us feel energized. As the day fades and darkness increases, the SCN triggers the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps us feel sleepy and ready for rest. Our circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep. It influences body temperature, digestion, blood pressure, and even the strength of our immune system. That's why people often feel more alert or sluggish at certain times of the day, and why shift workers or travelers crossing time zones can experience jet lag when their internal clocks fall out of sync with the external world. But what about tracking shorter periods, seconds, minutes, or hours? We don't have a clock on the wall inside our brains for these small stretches of time, but scientists have discovered something just as fascinating. A mental stopwatch or internal timer system that helps us perceive and estimate shorter durations. This internal stopwatch doesn't work like a mechanical clock. Instead, it relies on a complex network of brain regions, including the basal ganglia, cerebellum, and parts of the prefrontal cortex. These areas collaborate to generate neural pulses or ticks that the brain counts to estimate how much time has passed. When you try to guess how long a song lasted or how quickly you finished a task, your brain is quietly running this stopwatch. Attention plays a big role here. When you focus closely on time passing, the internal clock runs faster, making durations feel longer. But if your attention is diverted, say, you're deeply engrossed in a game or conversation, the mental stopwatch ticks more slowly and time seems to fly. This internal timing system is why waiting in line feels endless, but hours can vanish during a fun activity. Interestingly, certain chemicals in the brain, like dopamine, influence how this mental stopwatch runs. High dopamine levels speed it up, making time seem to move slower, while lower levels slow it down. This explains some of the time distortions experienced in different moods or neurological conditions. While the circadian rhythm is a steady 24-hour cycle tuned to light and dark, this mental stopwatch is flexible, adjusting to our mental state and level of engagement. Together, these biological clocks help us navigate both the grand cycles of day and night and the fleeting moments that fill our lives. In summary, the biological clocks within us are remarkable systems that blend the external world's rhythms with our internal experiences. From the SCN's steady beat guiding our daily cycles to the mental stopwatch quietly timing seconds and minutes, these clocks shape how we live and feel time's passage. Recognizing their role helps us understand why time can sometimes feel so steady and at other times wildly elastic. In our modern world, time seems more complex than ever before. We carry tiny devices in our pockets that tell us the exact hour, minute, and second, connecting us instantly to people and information across the globe. We have apps to track our steps, calendars that remind us of meetings, and notifications that keep us tethered to tasks and deadlines. Technology has changed how we live with time, shaping not only how we measure it, but how we feel it passing. Yet, paradoxically, as technology has brought precision and speed, many of us feel more rushed, more distracted, and sometimes even more disconnected from the natural flow of time. The relentless ping of notifications and the endless scroll of social media can make minutes vanish without our awareness, leaving a strange emptiness where moments should be. This modern rhythm of time is fast, fragmented, and often stressful. But what is it about technology that alters our experience of time so deeply? To understand this, we need to look closely at how our brains interact with digital stimuli. Our attention, that precious mental resource, is pulled in many directions. Each alert or message asks for our focus, creating a cycle of quick shifts and brief engagements. Unlike deep focus or flow states where time seems to disappear, these short bursts of attention can fragment our perception of time, making it feel like it slips away unnoticed. This constant switching between tasks is often called multitasking, but it's really a rapid toggling of focus. Our brains can't truly focus on two things at once. Instead, they jump back and forth. This leads to mental fatigue and makes it harder to engage deeply with any one moment. When attention is shallow and scattered, time can either feel too fast because we miss it, or too slow because waiting for something meaningful to happen can feel frustratingly long. Moreover, technology has changed our relationship with waiting. In days past, waiting meant time to pause, reflect, or daydream. Now waiting is often filled with distraction, checking emails, browsing feeds, watching videos to fill every idle second. This means we rarely experience boredom or the slow, quiet moments that our brains need to reset and rest. The absence of these pauses can make our internal clock feel out of sync. The nature of time in the digital age also affects our memory and how we store experiences. With so much information available instantly, we tend to skim and forget quickly. Unlike childhood memories rich with novelty and detail, many digital interactions leave only faint traces in our minds. This can lead to a feeling that time is rushing by faster than before, because our brains have fewer dense memories to anchor us. Yet, technology is not all disruption. It also offers ways to reconnect with time in meaningful ways. Meditation apps, guided sleep stories, and digital detox programs encourage us to slow down, breathe, and become present. Timers and habit trackers help build routines that bring structure and calm to our days. Virtual communities offer support for mindfulness and wellness practices that remind us to cherish each moment. Another fascinating impact of technology is how it shapes collective time. Social media creates a shared timeline where moments from around the world unfold simultaneously, collapsing time zones and connecting diverse experiences. We witness celebrations, crises, and daily life all in real time, which can foster empathy and understanding across distances. Yet this constant stream of shared moments can also overwhelm us, making it difficult to pause and process our own time fully. Technology also changes how we envision the future. With rapid advancements and constant innovation, our sense of what is possible expands, and so does the speed at which we expect change. This can inspire excitement and hope, but also impatience and anxiety, as the future seems both closer and more uncertain than ever. Despite these challenges, the essential nature of time remains unchanged. Seconds still tick forward, days still unfold, and the cycles of night and day continue their eternal dance. Our task is to find balance, to use technology wisely, harnessing its benefits while guarding against its distractions. To do this, we can cultivate awareness, choosing when to engage and when to step back. We can create spaces for quiet, for deep focus, for genuine rest. Living in harmony with time in a technological world means embracing both the speed and the stillness, the connection and the solitude. It means remembering that behind every screen and every clock is a human being, with a heart that beats in rhythm with the universe's gentle flow. So, as you navigate your days surrounded by screens and sounds, remember to breathe and look up. Notice the light filtering through the leaves, the rhythm of your own breath, the simple beauty of a moment unhurried. Technology will continue to evolve, but the timeless dance of time will always invite you to slow down and be present. Let your relationship with time be shaped not by endless rushing or constant distraction, but by curiosity, kindness, and calm. In this way, time becomes not just something we measure or manage, but a living companion that enriches our lives, helps us grow, and carries us gently toward tomorrow. Time is something we all try to hold on to, shape, and manage. We create calendars filled with appointments, set alarms to wake us up, and carve our days into blocks of productivity. From ancient sundials to modern smart watches, humans have built countless tools to measure time as precisely as possible. Yet, despite all these efforts, time remains an elusive force, impossible to grasp fully or slow down no matter how hard we try. This urge to control time comes from a deep place inside us. Time governs everything: our work, our rest, our relationships, and our dreams. It promises order in a chaotic world. By dividing time into hours and minutes, we create a structure that helps us plan and predict. Knowing when to start and when to stop gives us comfort. Without clocks, the rhythm of life might feel like an endless drift. But here lies the paradox. In trying to control time, we often lose our sense of living it. When every moment is scheduled and every second tracked, time can slip away unnoticed. The clock's hands move steadily, but our experience of life becomes fragmented. We may find ourselves counting hours rather than savoring them, rushing through tasks without presence or joy. Consider how the pressure to be productive shapes our relationship with time. In today's fast-paced world, doing more in less time is a common goal. Yet this mindset can backfire, leading to stress and burnout. When time feels like an enemy racing ahead, we become anxious and restless. The more we push against time, the more it seems to escape us. Psychologists say that this struggle comes from a feeling of scarcity, believing there's never enough time. But time itself isn't scarce. It's our attention that is limited. We only have so much mental energy to devote to moments, and when distracted, time can feel either painfully slow or maddeningly fast. Ironically, when we try too hard to control time, we may lose sight of what matters most: the quality of our moments, the joy of a slow morning coffee, the warmth of a meaningful conversation, the peace of a quiet walk. These are experiences that don't fit neatly into a schedule but enrich our lives deeply. Some cultures embrace this more relaxed view of time. The idea of island time, or mañana, reflects a gentler, more fluid approach to living. Here, time is not a rigid ruler, but a companion to life's rhythms. It invites patience, presence, and acceptance rather than control. So how can we balance the need for structure with the desire for freedom? One approach is to treat time not as a master to obey, but as a guide to respect. We can use clocks and calendars to support our goals, but also make space for spontaneity and rest. Mindfulness practices encourage us to notice each moment without judgment, freeing us from the tyranny of the ticking clock. Another helpful idea is to prioritize what truly matters. When we focus on meaningful activities, those that bring connection, creativity, and joy, time often feels richer and fuller. Quality outweighs quantity. It's not about squeezing more into the day, but about filling time with what makes life worthwhile. Technology, too, can be an ally in this balance. While it can distract, it can also remind us to pause, breathe, and reflect. Setting boundaries with devices, scheduling breaks, and cultivating digital mindfulness help us reclaim our attention and our time. Ultimately, living well with time means accepting its mystery and impermanence. We cannot slow down seconds or rewind minutes, but we can choose how we meet each moment. Time may be unstoppable, but our experience of it is ours to shape. As the Sleepy Philosopher gently reminds us, let go of the struggle to control every tick of the clock. Instead, embrace time as a flowing river, sometimes rushing, sometimes calm, always moving forward. Float with it rather than against it, and in doing so, find the freedom and peace that come from living fully in the here and now. Time isn't just something that happens outside us, ticking steadily on clocks and calendars. Inside our minds, time becomes fluid, flexible, and sometimes magical. We don't only experience the present moment. We travel mentally backward into the past, forward into the future, and sideways into what might have been or what could be. This mental time travel is one of the most fascinating gifts our brains offer. Think about the last time you remembered a childhood birthday or imagined what your life might be like next year. In these moments, your mind shifts from now to then, like a traveler stepping onto a moving train bound for a different station in time. Unlike a real train, though, this journey requires no ticket, no schedule, and no physical effort. It happens effortlessly within the folds of your thoughts. Scientists call this ability mental time travel. It's part of what makes us uniquely human. Animals remember, of course, but only humans seem able to consciously picture past events with detail or plan complex futures. This mental rehearsal helps us learn from experience, anticipate challenges, and dream big. Memory plays the starring role in traveling back in time. When you recall a moment, your brain reconstructs that event, painting it vividly with sights, sounds, smells, and emotions. It's like replaying a movie. Sometimes clear and sharp, other times hazy or incomplete. These mental movies aren't perfect copies, though. They change with each recall, colored by our feelings, new knowledge, and even imagination. Future thinking is just as creative. When we plan or hope for something ahead, our brains assemble ideas and possibilities from fragments of past experiences mixed with pure invention. This future-oriented thinking lets us set goals, solve problems, and imagine different outcomes. It can inspire hope and motivation, but also worry and fear, depending on the stories we tell ourselves. Interestingly, this mental time travel can alter our perception of actual time. When we're lost in memories or daydreams, the present moment slips away. Minutes pass unnoticed, or a quiet afternoon can feel stretched by the richness of thought. This inner journey offers a form of escape, a private world where time's usual rules bend and soften. However, mental time travel can also trap us. Dwelling too much on regrets from the past or anxieties about the future may steal the joy of now. The Sleepy Philosopher gently reminds us to balance this gift with presence, savoring moments as they unfold, while honoring the lessons and dreams carried in the mind's time machine. In some cultures and spiritual traditions, this inner voyage through time is seen as a path to wisdom. Reflecting on past experiences with gratitude, imagining a hopeful future, and returning to the calm of the present is like a rhythmic dance that grounds us. It teaches us that while we cannot control external time, we can shape how we move within it. So next time your mind wanders down memory lane or races ahead to tomorrow, remember, you are engaging with the mystery and magic of time itself. Mental time travel is a reminder that time isn't just a rigid sequence of seconds. It is a living, breathing experience shaped by the heart and mind. Embrace your inner traveler. Let your thoughts flow gently through the landscapes of time, exploring, learning, and dreaming, and always returning home to the peace of now. Time has always been a silent partner in human life, marking our days and nights, guiding our seasons, and shaping our stories. But in today's world, time wears new faces, glowing screens, buzzing alerts, and endless digital clocks. Technology has become our constant timekeeper, and it has transformed how we experience time in ways both subtle and profound. Long before smartphones, humans created devices to measure time. The sundial, the water clock, the mechanical clock. Each invention brought a new way to slice and order the continuous flow of moments. These tools helped societies coordinate work, celebrate rituals, and navigate the world. Yet, none of these early clocks could compete with the speed and ubiquity of today's digital timekeepers. Modern technology keeps us tethered to time in real time, everywhere we go. Our phones beep with reminders, calendars sync with our plans, and social media timelines stream endlessly. Time has become a flowing river of notifications, appointments, and deadlines. This constant connection to time information shapes not just what we do, but how we feel about time itself. On one hand, technology helps us manage time more efficiently. We can set alarms to wake us, timers to focus, and reminders to connect with loved ones. GPS systems estimate travel times, apps track our habits, and calendars organize our busy lives. This precision gives a comforting sense of control over the day's hours and minutes. It's like having a personal assistant who never sleeps, keeping watch over every tick. But there is a paradox hidden in this convenience. The very tools meant to save time sometimes make us feel rushed, overwhelmed, or anxious about time slipping away. When every minute is scheduled and every second accounted for, time can feel like a relentless taskmaster instead of a gentle companion. The constant presence of clocks and alerts can fragment our attention and shorten our patience, pulling us away from calm immersion in the present moment. Psychologists have explored how digital devices influence our perception of time. When we scroll through endless feeds or binge-watch videos, hours can dissolve unnoticed. Time flies when we're entertained, yet paradoxically, the omnipresence of the clock on our screens can also remind us that time is fleeting, creating a subtle stress called time pressure. This feeling can alter our internal clock, making moments feel simultaneously too short and too heavy. Technology also changes how we value time socially. The expectation of instant replies, quick responses, and constant availability compresses our sense of patience. We measure social interactions in minutes and seconds, often forgetting the deeper, slower rhythms of human connection. This acceleration can leave us yearning for moments without screens, quiet times when clocks don't count and hearts can breathe. Interestingly, research shows that the experience of waiting has shifted in the digital age. Waiting for a bus or in a doctor's office once meant watching a clock or counting the ceiling tiles. Now, phones offer distractions that can shrink or expand our feeling of waiting. Sometimes, scrolling social media during a wait makes it pass faster. Other times, the awareness of lost time, hours spent online, can make us feel trapped in a digital waiting room, disconnected from real life. Beyond individual perception, technology also redefines cultural time. In a globalized, hyper-connected world, time zones blur and events happen simultaneously across continents. Online communities exist outside traditional time, creating always-on cultures where work and leisure merge. The boundaries of the workday, weekend, and holiday shift, prompting new questions about how to balance time in a digital era. Yet, amidst this complex relationship, there are gentle ways technology can help us reconnect with time's natural flow. Mindfulness apps guide us to slow our breathing and anchor attention to the present. Digital detox movements encourage moments of silence, turning off screens to turn on awareness. Smart watches and fitness trackers remind us to move, rest, and care for our bodies, in tune with circadian rhythms. The Sleepy Philosopher invites you to consider your own dance with technology and time. How do your devices shape your moments? When do they serve as helpful guides, and when do they pull you away from the calm river of now? Can you find ways to let technology be a tool, not a master, in your experience of time? In the end, technology is a mirror, reflecting back our relationship with time and ourselves. It can amplify both our busyness and our stillness, our distraction and our focus. The choice to live gently with time, to slow down and savor, rests not in turning away from technology, but in weaving it thoughtfully into the tapestry of life. So next time your phone buzzes or a clock ticks loudly in the background, pause and breathe. Remember that time is more than numbers on a screen. It's the soft, unfolding story of your life. Let technology help you keep that story steady, balanced, and full of quiet moments to rest, dream, and be. While clocks march steadily onward, our minds have a remarkable power, the ability to travel through time without ever leaving the present moment. We don't need a machine or a special device to revisit the past or imagine the future. In the quiet theater of our thoughts, we are all time travelers, journeying backward and forward with ease. Memory is the gateway to the past. When you recall a childhood birthday, a loved one's smile, or the sound of rain on a summer evening, your brain reconstructs moments stored deep within. These recollections aren't exact recordings like a video, but vivid reimaginings, colored by emotion and meaning. This replay bends time, letting you relive moments from days, years, or decades ago in a matter of seconds. Time, in this way, becomes elastic, stretching to hold the richness of experience. But the magic doesn't stop there. The future is an open landscape waiting to be imagined. When you think about what might happen tomorrow, next year, or in your wildest dreams, your brain creates mental simulations. These anticipations help you plan, hope, and prepare. Imagining the future can feel thrilling, frightening, or comforting, yet it also shapes how you experience the present. For example, the excitement of an upcoming holiday might make today's hours seem longer, filled with expectancy. Neuroscientists have found that many of the same brain areas light up when we remember the past and when we envision the future. This overlap shows how intertwined our experience of time really is. Our mind doesn't separate past, present, and future as strictly as clocks and calendars do. Instead, it blends them into a continuous flow of mental time travel, where moments can overlap, echo, and transform. This mental time travel has a profound impact on how we perceive time's passage. When deeply immersed in memory or imagination, the external clock seems to fade. Minutes can vanish as your mind journeys through scenes and scenarios. This is why a single memory or daydream can feel like hours, or why the anticipation of an event can make time both crawl and fly. Interestingly, this ability also plays a role in how we cope with change and uncertainty. By imagining different futures, we rehearse possibilities, gaining confidence or caution. By recalling the past, we learn lessons and find comfort. Time travel in mind is, in a way, a survival tool, helping us navigate the ever-changing river of life. Yet, it's important to remember that this time travel is shaped by our thoughts and feelings. Negative memories can trap us in painful loops, while anxious imaginations can speed us into worries. Learning to guide this mental journey gently, with mindfulness and compassion, can turn time travel into a source of peace rather than stress. So, as you listen to the ticking clock tonight or watch the sun set on another day, take a moment to appreciate your unique gift. Your mind, a vessel sailing freely through time, holds the power to revisit cherished moments and dream new ones yet to come. In this quiet adventure, time is not just measured. It is lived, felt, and imagined. In our modern world, technology has become both a master and a servant of time. Smartphones, clocks, and endless notifications pulse through our lives, marking every second with precision. Yet, these very devices that promise to keep us on schedule often distort our personal experience of time in surprising ways. Think about a day spent scrolling on social media or binge-watching a favorite show. Hours can slip by unnoticed, swallowed by a digital whirlpool. Time seems to vanish. Yet, when you glance at the clock, you realize much more time has passed than you expected. This paradox arises because our brain's natural rhythms and the artificial demands of technology are often at odds. Notifications and alerts pull our attention away from the present moment, fragmenting our focus. Each ping interrupts our flow, breaking concentration into scattered pieces. This scattering doesn't just slow productivity, it alters how we perceive time itself. When attention is divided, seconds feel shorter, minutes blur together, and the day can end without a clear memory of what happened. On the other hand, technology can also make time feel painfully slow. Waiting for a slow-loading page or buffering video can stretch seconds into minutes. The impatience that rises in these moments is a testament to how technology changes our expectations of time. Instant gratification becomes the norm, and even the smallest delays are magnified. There's also the effect of time compression through digital efficiency. Calendars, alarms, and reminders help us pack more into each day, creating a whirlwind of scheduled tasks. While this can make us feel productive, it often leads to a sensation of time slipping away too quickly. The hours become a blur of appointments, messages, and deadlines, leaving little space for rest or reflection. Moreover, technology reshapes how we remember time. Digital photos and videos create endless archives of moments, yet they also change the way our brain processes memories. With so many moments recorded and easily accessible, our minds might hold fewer vivid personal memories, which can make time feel like it's passing faster. Yet technology isn't all a thief of time. It can also be a gentle guide, reminding us to pause, breathe, and reconnect. Mindfulness apps, digital detox tools, and online communities focused on well-being encourage us to slow down in a fast-paced world. They help us reclaim our perception of time, making it more about presence than pressure. In this dance between the ticking clock and digital rhythm, the question arises, how do we live well with time in the age of technology? The answer may lie in balance, using devices to enhance our lives without letting them dominate our attention or distort our inner sense of time. By learning to set boundaries, prioritize presence, and embrace moments of stillness amid the noise, we can turn technology from a time thief into a time friend. In doing so, we rediscover the gentle flow of time, one where seconds aren't just counted, but truly lived. Time is something we live by every single day, yet so rarely do we stop to truly feel it. It is woven into every moment, every breath, every heartbeat, moving steadily forward whether we notice it or not. From the moment we wake to the moment we close our eyes to sleep, time guides us. Sometimes like a strict teacher keeping us on schedule, other times like a gentle companion leading us on a walk through life. And yet, for all its power and presence, time often feels distant, like a river flowing just out of reach, slipping quietly through our fingers. As we come to the close of this journey together, it is worth pausing to reflect on this curious companion we call time. We often think of it as a resource to be managed, saved, or even fought against. Deadlines loom, minutes tick away, and calendars fill with tasks and appointments. It is easy to become caught in the race against the clock, trying to squeeze more into each day, to stretch moments thinner, to chase the future and forget the present. But what if we chose a different way? What if, instead of running from time or trying to control it, we learn to live gently with it, to welcome it not as an enemy, but as a friend? Time, after all, is the canvas on which our lives are painted. Without it, there would be no stories to tell, no memories to treasure, no moments of joy to savor. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to slow down, not just in action, but in spirit, to stop the endless rushing and just be. To watch the sun set without checking the clock, to listen to the rhythm of your breath without planning the next step, to simply feel the passing of time as it flows softly around you like a warm breeze. This is not about losing productivity or neglecting responsibilities. Rather, it is about finding balance, a way to honor time's passage while also honoring ourselves. To recognize that some of the most valuable things in life cannot be rushed. The warmth of a smile, the comfort of a hug, the quiet peace found in a moment of stillness. When we slow down, we open space for something remarkable to happen. We become more present, more aware. We notice the small details, the way the light dances through leaves, the gentle rustle of pages in a book, the soft hum of life happening all around us. These moments, simple as they may seem, are the true treasures of time. They remind us that life is not just about what we do, but about how we experience being alive. Let time be your friend. Let it guide you gently rather than push you harshly. Treat each second as a gift, a chance to breathe, to feel, to connect. When stress or worry about the future begins to creep in, remember that time is not your enemy waiting to trap you, but a partner walking beside you, always moving forward, but always carrying the possibility of new beginnings. In this partnership, rest becomes essential. To rest is not to waste time, but to honor it. It is in rest that our minds and bodies rejuvenate, our creativity blossoms, and our spirits find peace. Just as the earth rests between seasons, so too do we need moments of pause to grow and thrive. Dream, too, is part of this gentle dance with time. In dreams, time bends and stretches, allowing us to explore worlds beyond waking life. Dreams invite us to imagine, to hope, and to heal. They remind us that time is fluid, not fixed, a mysterious flow that holds endless possibility. So, as you close your eyes tonight, or the next time you find yourself caught in the rush of the day, remember this gentle goodbye from time itself. Slow down, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to simply be. Rest in the knowledge that time moves with you, not against you, and that every moment is a chance to live fully and kindly. May you find peace in the ticking seconds, joy in the passing hours, and comfort in the endless flow of days and nights. May time be a source of calm, a quiet friend who carries you safely through life's journey. And when sleep finally comes, may it be soft and deep, carrying you on gentle waves of dreams until the new day dawns. For time is not just a measure, it is a living, breathing part of us all. Embrace it with open arms and let it carry you home. Good night, dear traveler of time. May your journey be peaceful, your heart light, and your moments full of gentle wonder.